Hey, you guys. Hey. Okay, so this is another prophetic dream I need to reshare with y'all. This prophetic dream is called Tight Leash. Okay, this prophetic dream is called Tight Leash, and God added that God is removing the limitations. Okay, it's called Tight Leash, and God is removing the limitations from some of you. Okay, for whoever this is in season for. This is another dream that speaks to the reversal that's taking place. This one is in season right now, and throughout the rest of this year, this is something else that God is doing. And so it speaks to the reversal where God is reeling in the world's favorites and having them sit down, and then he's sending out his chosen few. Jesus is Lord. So I'm just releasing this out of obedience, you guys, and maybe it may help some of y'all understand some of the dreams that you have had, or just confirm some things that God has been showing you. But it's another dream that speaks to the reversal, okay? And I recorded this dream 2 different times, and I felt led to just share the best parts from both videos. So you're going to see one video play, then it's going to go into another video. But those were like the most important parts that stood out to me. So I just combined it so you could get all the important parts for whoever it's for, okay? All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And y'all be blessed. And here's the dream. Okay, you guys, let me just add this real quick because I listened to the dream again. And so I just want to make sure I said this. Something I said on my recorder right from having a dream was that some people have had such a long leash, right? Some people have had such a long leash for a long time, and they have been really far from God. So some people have been on a long leash, but they've been really far from God. But God is about to shorten their leash and turn everything around because he's reeling them in. And then he's sending out his chosen few, okay? And while I was listening to this dream, something else God brought to mind was the story of David. He brought up David and Saul. So it's like these people he's reeling in, for some of them, they're like Sauls. He's reeling them in and sitting them down. And the Davids, the people this is for, he may have referenced you as the David before. He's been preparing you for this, okay? He's been preparing you for this moment just like he anointed David ahead of time. He anointed him ahead of time, but right after David was anointed, he didn't necessarily go straight to the throne. He had to go through a lot of different things before he had to prepare to be king, right? And he was tested over and over again, proving, that he had a servant's heart, proving that he had a heart like God's. So you're not going to be perfect, but at the end of the day, you have a servant's heart. You have a heart like God's. And so that's what I was getting as I was listening to this, okay? So I just wanted to add that part to you guys. So that's another way you can see this as well. Because God did mention his Davids, that he was sending his Davids out. And they would have more freedom because he could trust them to always return back to him because they had a heart of a servant. And David wasn't perfect. We know he wasn't perfect, but he always ran back to God. He always carried that heart of a servant. All right, y'all. All right. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And here's the dream, y'all. Here's the dream. Jesus is Lord. Okay, Jesus is Lord. You guys don't get me. Y'all know I'll be hopping back on. I'll be forgetting stuff. When I got off of here, I heard underdog, okay? Not only does David have the heart of a servant, but I heard Holy Spirit said David is the underdog. So this is for the underdogs. I had to say it. I had to hop back on here and say it because I felt some excitement in my spirit when I heard the Holy Spirit say underdog. So yes, this is his Davids. This is for his Davids. This is also the underdog, the one who took out the giant with a slingshot. Jesus is Lord. Some of y'all have been up against some giants. Jesus is Lord. And y'all about to knock that giant out with a slingshot. Jesus is Lord. Lord have mercy. This is so in season. Oh my God, y'all. Okay, y'all. God just filled me up with some extra excitement. Because I heard him clearly say, David is the underdog. He's the one who took out the giant with the slingshot. Okay, Jesus is Lord. God is about to move that mountain, whatever that is that's been standing in your way, whatever that is that seems like a giant to you, seems like it's stopping you on your path. God is about to deal with it. He's sending out his chosen few. He's taking the limits off. Jesus is Lord. His Davids, his underdogs. You are about to finally defeat Goliath. Jesus is Lord, or whatever that thing is. That's God. He just brought that to mind. So when I heard underdog, I just got excited. Okay. Jesus is Lord, y'all. Okay. That's it. If God gives me any more, I'll add it to the end of this, but that's it. All right, y'all. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And here's the word. Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel, y'all. Okay, so y'all got so much to release, it's not even funny. Today I want to share a dream with y'all though, but God was telling me that this morning because I thought I was doing good, and he had me going through my notebook and was like, you got a lot to release. So okay, this particular dream I want to share with y'all that God gave me. When did he give me this dream? Let me see. This dream he gave me on July the 22nd. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, he gave it to me on July the 22nd. And he was telling me that this was the time, the season to release it. So this one is called Short Leash. At first he said short leash, but then I kept hearing short leash and tight leash, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna get right in there. Okay, so in this dream, I'm like in this place. I'm in this place with a group of people, and I see multiple people just going to and fro. They're going back and forth, you know, just doing different things. And I'm kind of standing still. And the interesting thing, let me cut my phone off. The interesting thing, I was trying to make sure my phone wouldn't make any noise or interrupt me. But so the interesting thing while being in this place, the people I was there with, they all had they had leashes. They had a leash on them, right? And you know how a dog leash or whatever, when you walk your dog, you have those leashes where you can extend it and let the leash go really long when you want to allow your dog to, you know, go further. But then you can also pull your pet back in, and you can lock it, you know, to where they can't go any further. And so anyways, it was like they had a leash like that. And I saw some people over here, I saw some over there, and then they were moving here, moving there. And in a dream, it was funny. I just saw the leashes going like this. Because people were doing their thing. And they was all, you know, they were doing their thing. They had all this free movement. And then all of a sudden in a dream, they all started to get reeled back in. All of a sudden, just all of them. And then it was like their leash was locked, and they all got reeled back in and gathered in one section, and they had very little movement all of a sudden, right? And so in a dream, while they were, you know, having all this free movement, I was kind of still, and in my mind, I was in a place as a servant. So when they were going here and there, they would stop, you know, and they would stop between me sometimes and maybe be like, here, hold this, here, do that. Like I was playing a role as a servant, you know, even unto them while they were doing their thing. And so once they got reeled back in, and it was like they were positioned all in the same little area, and they could barely move. They had very little movement all of a sudden. Then I had a knowing that I could move. And not only could I move, I didn't have a leash on me at all. I had no leashes on me. Okay, so that's the first section of the dream. Okay, I'm gonna come back and explain it. So that's the first part. Then the second part of this dream, after those people got reeled in and they, you know, couldn't really move, the person that was over some of them was like, they were bothered, like, what's going on? How come they can't do this? How come they can't do that? And they said, don't worry, they're going to take care of it. They're going to handle it. They're going to fix the problem, whatever the problem is that caused them to have very little movement. This particular person was a pastor that I'm familiar with. And so this pastor who was over this group of people, they were confident that they could fix the problem. And so they went to go talk to somebody and say, you know, what's the problem? You know, letting them know, don't worry, I'm going to take care of all of this. but it didn't matter what that person did. That person had no power. It's nothing that person could have said to give them their movement back. So it was like that pastor was going to be talking in vain, because they had no power. The person they went to talk to had no power to give those people their movement back. Okay, y'all, so that's the dream. Lord, I hope I'm explaining this right. But so this dream kind of ties into the underdog, but not fully. God told me to make it its own separate dream, but he gave me the same scripture with this one. The last shall be first and the first shall be last. And he referred to a reversal. He kept referring to a reversal on here too. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that reversal part, okay, y'all? It's a lot. Okay, so yeah, he was telling me in the beginning of this dream, he was showing me how the wicked have had such a long leash for a long time. And not just the wicked. These are the people's choice. The people he showed me, some were the wicked, some were man's choice. You know, these were the people that man chose. They were popular to man. Like I said, a group of them, a particular pastor, it was their choice. It was their favorite people, right? This particular pastor, a group of the people that God reeled in and made them stay put, these were their people, their favorites, right? So he showed me the people that were being reeled in. Some were the wicked, but some were the people's choice, the popular. You know, those were the types of people that were being reeled in, and they were being made to sit still. So they went from having all this free movement to hardly no movement. And then I had a knowing that I could move, and I could go even further than they did, because I had no leash attached to me whatsoever, right? And so when I asked God about this, because I was a little concerned, because I was like, Daddy, I didn't have a leash at all. And he had to remind me that it was okay for me not to have a leash, because I had the heart of a servant. Even when he freed me, when he made those people come in and be still, it was like I was free. And he was freeing me to go out. You know, I already knew I was supposed to go out, and I was just like, how far can I go? But I didn't have a leash. So the sky was the limit, right? The sky was the limit. And when I asked him why I didn't have a leash, he reminded me that I had a servant's heart. Even though I would have been freed, he didn't have to worry about me leaving and not coming back. He didn't. Wherever I went, I carried a servant's heart. So no matter how far out I ventured, I would have the heart of a servant everywhere I went. So he showed me in a dream that a lot of you guys, as he does this reversal, you will go further than the people that he's reeling back in. And he can trust you to go further because you have a servant's heart, okay? And then he had me even thinking about pets. I don't know if y'all have pets. I had a dog once, and I knew like I could let my dog out in the front yard, and I always knew after he used it, he would come right back. I could let him out without a leash, no problem, and he would always come right back to the door when he was finished. He would always come back. And then he even had me comparing, you know, different animals. I know we're not animals, but just to give, you know, a deeper understanding that, for instance, a cat, you can't let a cat out to go use it, you know, without a leash and expect them to come right back home. I never had a cat before, but from some cat owners I know, if you let that cat outside, you know, free, that cat is going to be jumping gates and balconies, and you may not see that cat unless it's hungry, and then it comes back to eat. But God was just showing me, that he's doing a reversal. He's doing a reversal, and he brought the scripture, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And that he was giving you this free movement because he can trust you with it. And he kind of, something else I felt when he reeled them in, and then I had the freedom to go forth, I almost felt like they were servants. Like they were in that position of the servant now, you know, like now it was their turn. And, but even though I was moving forward, I still carried that heart, that same kind of heart, you know, a server's heart. And, what else, y'all? Oh, the second part of the dream where this pastor tried to intervene to get their movement back going. It was like that pastor was talking in vain, because the person they were talking to had no control over anything, but God was in control. So it did not matter how much that pastor, talked. It didn't matter how upset they got. It didn't matter what they said to the person. God was in control. God stopped their movement, and God was going to keep it just how it was unless he decided to do something different. And so it just went to show that it didn't matter, what they said or how they felt about it. And it was one more part, y'all, that I wanted to share with y'all real quick. Let me see. So God showed me it would be the wicked and the popular, the world's chosen. He's reeling in the world's chosen because now he wants his chosen few to go out. So the world's champions, the world's chosen, the world's favorites are being reeled in, and God is about to release his chosen few out. That's how he showed it to me. He said he's flipping things around, and God is turning things around to where they will have less movement. All right. Oh, and then also, I'm looking this up, you guys. Hold on. Okay, you guys. And then too, how I kind of knew this was in season for right now is sometime last week while I was taking a nap, God had mentioned to me before I woke up. He said that he said, here, I wrote it down. He said reversal of fortunes. Okay. He said there will be a reversal of fortunes. He said that some people were about to start losing some things. He said they would start to experience a reversal of fortunes, and he referenced some pretty high profile people. So that's how I knew that this was the time for this dream to be released. So yes, but anyways, you guys, this one is called Short Leash. God is going to be reeling the world's favorites in, and he's going to be releasing his chosen few out there, and we're going to be limitless. We're going to be limitless. We're going to surpass we're going to surpass expectations, and he can trust us to do that because of the kind of heart we carry for him. And so basically that's the dream. It's just a confirmation of what God is doing right now, and it's in season. It's heavily in season. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting nothing. But yeah, so the reversal is the reversal of fortune, and God said he's shortening the leash. He's reeling them back in, and he said they're going to have a tight leash. He's going to have a tight leash on them. And he said he was removing the limitations. That's what it was, okay? So he said they're going to have a tight leash, and he's going to be removing the limitations that have been on us, okay? All right, y'all. So I hope that blessed somebody or confirmed something for you. So that was the dream, and I have some more to release. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. I saw a particular pastor come in, and they were very upset because some of these people that got reeled in were their people. And this pastor was really upset, and they were like, they're going to try to figure out what's going on. They don't know what's going on, but they're going to fix it. And, they're going to go down there, and they were going to throw their weight around, and, they were going to fix the problem and get these people their movement back. And so what that pastor didn't realize, though, was that God had stopped their movement. So it didn't matter what they said because God stopped their movement. And it was like I was sitting there watching this pastor with me and God watching this pastor, and he was like, they're talking in vain. It did not matter how upset they got, how many people they talked to. Nobody possessed the power to give these people their movement back because God set them down. God reeled them in, and he put them over to the side. And he said they're going to have a tight leash. That's why I said at first I heard short leash because he shortened their leash. He reeled them in, and he shortened their leash. And then once he shortened it, he locked it and he tightened it so they couldn't move out anymore, right? And then another part of the dream, I remember once they were reeled in, I had a knowing that now I was free and I can go out and I could venture out, And the thing was, I didn't have a leash attached to me at all, right? I didn't have a leash attached to me at all. And so I asked God when I woke up, I was like, Daddy, I didn't have a leash at all. And he showed me that I didn't need one because I had the heart of a servant. And he knew that no matter how far I ventured out, I would always return back to him, right? So that's another part of the dream where he was showing that as he reels in, the people he were reeling in was the world's favorites. the world's chosen. You know, these people, even for this particular pastor, this was their favorite people he had reeled in. So he showed me he was reeling in the wicked, and he was reeling in the world's favorites and the world's chosen. And then his chosen few can go out. And he was also showing me that he was removing the limitations. They had limitations on them. Even though they were venturing out and they were doing their thing and they were going here and there, it was only so far they were going to be able to go. Because they had a leash on them. God's chosen few, we're not going to have leashes on us because we have a servant's heart. He can trust us to go out and always return back to him, right? So it's like sky is the limit. He's removing the limitations, okay? And so I think I released this dream a couple months back on my other channel, but God was showing me it's in season now in a more massive way. It was in season for some people then, but now it's more massive. Now I saw it some then, because some of the people he mentioned to me were celebrities, and he also mentioned the reversal and how he was turning things around, and he referred to it throughout this dream, right? And so, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get over whatever this is, but yeah, so that was the dream. And then why I felt led to release it was because one day before I woke up, okay, y'all, then a couple months back, right before I woke up, I heard the noise from a car commercial, and I either heard or thought Tundra, you know, the truck Tundra. That's what I was hearing right before I woke up. And so when I hear things right before I wake up, I normally will put it down in my notes, like in my phone. I'll text it to myself or something just so I don't forget. But then I forgot about it, and then God made sure that I pulled up behind a Tundra truck, and I looked it up, and basically it's a vast land. I wrote it down. It's a vast flat land where the subsoil is permanently frozen, which makes it hard for anything to grow, right? And immediately I thought about this message that he gave me for the tight leash. And so the other day, God made sure that I pulled up behind the Tundra truck. I pulled up behind it twice, 2 different times, y'all. I don't even pay attention to vehicles like that. I don't pay attention to names of vehicles or nothing like that. So for it to stand out to me, I knew it was God telling me it was time to release this. So he's reeling them in, and this time it's going to be on a more vast level. Like I said, I saw it when he started doing it before, but this time it's going to be on a broader level. It's going to be vast. It's going to be major. Everyone's going to take notice. And and he kept mentioning the reversal as well. Okay, y'all. He said they're going to have a tight leash, and you'll be able to go further than ever, because he can trust you to go further and come back to him because you have the heart of a servant. Okay. And then something I also was picking up in a dream was that now they were in a position of servitude, right? Something God has showed me is part of the reversal. While people are coming out of their wilderness season, others will be entering into a wilderness season. Now, I know the definition of the tundra talks about the soil being permanently frozen, but I don't believe God is going to keep them still permanently unless he has to. I felt like when he reeled them in close to him, because these were people who had been far from him. They had been so busy. They had been far from him. So I believe he wants to touch the hearts of those people and give them a chance, open their eyes to some things, and if they are repentive, I believe they will be released. But the ones who are not, they will have to sit still for a very long time, permanently if necessary. But yeah, that was the dream, you guys. So God said so he said he'll be reeling them in, and then once he does that, we'll finally be able to go out and release the gifts and talents that he's given us, and that there will be no leash on us. It will be limitless. The amount of work we can get done will be limitless. All the ideas he's been giving us for the kingdom businesses he's been giving us, we will finally be free to go out and release it, and and produce all the things and ideas that God has given you to produce. All right. This is just confirmation. God wanted me to release it. He talked about the reversal. He talked about reeling in the wicked and the world's chosen and releasing his chosen few. And we will have no limitations on us because he can trust us to always come back to him because we carry a servant's heart. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. That was the dream. Y'all be blessed.